If you're part of my channel, you're going to change your self-worth and self-esteem over time, naturally, by osmosis, okay? So let's think about the big picture. You want to think big. You want to create something massive. Let's go through the 4 phases in order for you to achieve that thing. Some of you guys are today unemployed. As an unemployed, we need to change this phase very, very quickly into phase 2. Phase 2 is having jobs and being a CEO at your jobs. And I'm not talking about being the CEO in the company that you work for, just having a CEO schedule with your jobs, okay? And then phase 3 is to develop your self-employed business on the side of these 3 jobs, and then being the CEO of that company. And that's the business that you build and scale. Hopefully it's the first project you start. Then we head into phase 4, which is to begin to employ people. Then you begin to employ 3, and then 10, and then 100, and then 1,000, 10,000, 100,000, eventually, if you're thinking massive. You are going to make life easier and more wonderful for millions of people. That's a decision. Okay, let's go back to phase 1 now. Unemployed CEO, what are you doing? Well, first of all, if you're unemployed, normally you'll spend a lot of time at home. You'll spend a lot of time in front of your computer. You spend a lot of time in your home or in your room. It's a waste of time. And if you keep doing that, you're never going to achieve the stuff that I'm talking about. None of it. Nothing is going to become realized if you stay in that house. Okay? So number 1 rule is to leave your house early in the morning and come home late at night. Okay, enough time so that you can properly sleep, okay, and prepare food, etc. But you should leave early in the morning and come home late at night, okay? Every day. No exception to the rule if you're unemployed. If you're in the 3 other phases, that's going to happen naturally anyway. But phase number 1 is the hardest one, okay? Can you believe that's the hardest one? To shift your mindset from an unemployed dude who's an average or less than mediocre guy, perhaps, who knows, okay, into someone who's going places, someone who's taking charge of their life, making things happen. You can't stay at home. You leave early in the morning, you come home late at night, okay? As you do that, what do you do as an unemployed guy? You're going to now get a job. You're going to get a second job, and you're going to get a third job, and that's going to amount to 80-hour work week. If you haven't understood what the 80-hour work week plan or system is, study my channel. You'll figure it out real quick. Most of my videos talk exactly about that point. What are you going to do? Well, you're going to first make an A4 piece of paper with your resume/application on one A4 sheet of paper. Not front and back, not 2 pages, not 3 pages, just one. Easy to scan, takes 10 to 20 seconds to scan for someone who's employing you, okay? And then you copy it to 10 or 20 or 50 or 100 applications if you got the ink in the printer to do it. If you don't, and you can only get a hold of one copy, okay, then the time when you go in to ask someone if they can hire you, okay, you're going in there with your application, you find, is the manager here? And then they say, well, you know, well, what do you want? Well, I want to apply for a job here. Oh, we're not hiring. Okay, no problem. Is the manager here? Okay, and then you finally get to talk to the manager. You give them the application, etc. Right? And if they say, oh, we take applications online, you say, no problem. But I'd like to give you guys my application right here, face to face, since I'm here. And by the way, why don't you just hire me right now? Then you don't have to go through the resumes and applications of the people online and schedule interviews and all that stuff. I'll be the best employee that you've ever had, okay? If you've got the right mindset and assume the close that you're going to get that specific job that you're applying for, you might just get it. So, you've now spoken to the manager, you've given the application, and then you tell him, by the way, is it possible for me to take a copy of that? Or 10 copies? Or 20 copies? That would be fantastic. Every single workplace very often have a printer in the back, and you ask them to take a copy, bro, they'll be fired up outside their brain because they'll know that, Brent, dang, this guy's ambitious. All right, cool. And then they copy it, and then you develop a relationship because you're going into the back, and then you suddenly have a job, okay? And you also have copies of your application that you now can go to the next place and do the flipping exact same thing. And then get copies from that place. You don't even need to use your own printer and ink for the hundreds and hundreds and hundred applications you're going to need in the next few weeks, okay? With these copies, you're going to apply for 100 jobs every single day. Every single day for a week or 2 weeks or 3 weeks. Well, you know what? For a year, if that's what it takes you to get 3 jobs. Obviously, it's not going to take you more than 3 weeks. In my opinion, it's going to take you less than 3 days if you actually do 100 applications every single day. Okay? No one can apply for 2,100 jobs and not have 3 jobs by the end of 3 weeks. Okay? 100 every day. How do you do that, Joseph? That sounds just way too much. I'm like, I've been doing 3 applications a week and I'm happy with myself. That's great. Be happy with your efforts. But let's take things to the next level, shall we? We're thinking big. Not only are we thinking big about the future, we're thinking big about the now. The now is today. Think big about what you can accomplish today. 100. So, how does it look like? Well, if you leave your house at 8, let's say you begin immediately to hand out some applications. You do 20 in the first 2 hours of the day. By 10 o'clock, you've delivered 20 applications to 20 different jobs. Cool. Now you take a half an hour break to eat or, to get your regroup, whatever. And then another 2 hours, 20. And then break, another 2 hours, 20, break, another 2 hours, 20, break, etc. You got 5 2-hour sessions every day over the next 3 weeks or however long it takes you for you to get 3 jobs. Okay? You think that you're going to be interviewed to get the job. No, since you have so many options, trust me, you're going to get a lot of options if you actually stick to the strategy. You're going to be interviewing them to find out if their schedule fits yours. You're going to figure out if this job is actually one that you would want because you've got 5 other interviews this week, okay? Which is great. So now you're going to basically ask, do you have shifts available Monday to Friday, 8 to 5, for example, and you want a day job for one of the jobs. And then maybe you want an evening job for the other job, and then you want a weekend, Saturday and Sunday job for the third job. In that way, you get 3 jobs, you work 80 hours a week, set, finito, done. Great, right? And it's not gonna look picture perfect like that, but if it can, wow, awesome. You finish phase number 1, you're not unemployed anymore. You're never gonna be unemployed anymore because now I've given you the secrets to getting jobs. It's simple, it's easy if you actually do the 100 applications a day. Okay, now you're creating a CEO schedule. How does it look like? Well, it's the same. You leave your house in the morning, you come home late. And you work 80 hours a week. You have 112 hours that you're awake. 80 hours for work, okay, and transportation back and forth. You can count that if you want. And then you've got 32 hours other than sleep. Success is the 80 hours, but the 32 hours is even more important than the success, which is the preparation for success. Okay, the preparation of success is more important than success. So once you have those 32 hours, what do you do there? Well, you won't have time for massive amounts of time with family. You won't have time for your thinking friends, okay? And you won't have time for lots of other massive activities, like, for example, going to the roller coaster park, theme park, or going out to party, or drinking, or using stimulants, or like doing all the stuff that you've been doing in the past, like going to the beach or whatever. Or exercising 2 hours a day. Bro, give it up. Let's start thinking big. Let's start thinking CEO. Let's think long term for a second, okay? Exercise, but don't do 2 hours. Do 20 minutes or half an hour. That's enough. And then you've got your sleep, and then food. Food. Nutrition is key in order for you to survive your CEO schedule. We talk about time management, and you're going to certainly need that for the 80 hours, but you're mostly going to need energy management. That's what's going to suck with these 80 hours. You got to go through hell to get to heaven, but you're going to make it less of a hell if you actually manage to prepare your meals properly. That should be, in my opinion, at least 20% of those 32 hours. Okay? So 6 hours a week you should set aside properly for food prep, so that you've got food all of the day, every day, so that you can actually properly work these 80 hours. Okay, now that you've got the CEO schedule, trust me, you have it now. You move on to phase number 3. You're actually doing these jobs consistently over a long period of time, let's say 2-3 months, and you have some extra capacity, even though you're doing 80 hours. Then you're going to start your business. Why would you start a business? Because you want to become a CEO. You want to become a massive business conglomerate owner, right? You're going to start that business, and the goal is to create a product or service that produces an income. And that income, the goal is to replace the worst of the 3 jobs. That's it. So you replace that with that income. Once you've done that, you can quit that 3rd job because you got a business. And what happens now? You suddenly have more time available. This is a problem. It's a luxury problem, but it's a problem which now needs to be funneled not into fun activities or enjoying yourself because you've got more money to spend these days. No, you funnel all of that time into your business, which means that that business is going to grow faster and going to make more money. And now you're going to have that business with that money, which is going to replace now the 2nd worst job. And now you have even more time, funnel that into the business, and eventually you've doubled your income compared to what you're making in your daily jobs, and you quit the last job and you're free forever. You're free forever. You never need a job for a boss ever again. Now, having said that, being a self-employed, you kind of have a boss, okay? All of your clients are bosses, right? Like with my coaching clients, in many ways, they're my bosses, okay? Because if I don't work for them, they don't pay me, right? Unfortunately, we have great relationships, so that's awesome. But what I'm talking about is that you'll never work a job building up someone else's wealth. Although it's a win-win situation, you won't be doing it in a job that you don't enjoy or like ever again for the rest of your life. People think that they need to retire from a job at age 65. That's ridiculous. You can retire from not working a regular job, okay, when you're flipping 18 or 19 or 14. Never working a job ever again if you apply the principles that I talked to you about right here, okay? You just need some direction. You're going to get that from this channel. You're in now. You have a CEO schedule because you funneled all of the time that you had from these jobs over into your business. You're still doing the 80-hour work week. You just don't have a regular job. You have your business. If you now focus only on your business and do the 80 hours because it's a habit now. It's who you are. It's not like you now have time to do other stuff. No. You build your business. Don't give up. Keep going, okay? Because if you keep going with the 80 hours, in the next 6 months, you're going to have so much momentum, you're not going to recognize yourself or your business with the 80-hour work week, which will then lead you to too much things to do, and you'll need to hire other people. Now you're going into phase number 4, which is building your conglomerate. This is how you steadily but surely take you from unemployed CEO to a massive business owner for a huge conglomerate of multiple businesses that are creating products and services for the world and solving everyone's problems, okay? This is something that you can have as a purpose in life. All these things that I'm talking to you right now is there to help you to develop and reach your full potential, meaning your masculine potential. Things are about to change. You're going to learn from this channel and from the environment and the community that we have here with the Men of High Value. You're going places. I'm talking to you, man. Okay? You're going to do amazing things in your life if you stick around with this channel. It's a very simple process. It's a simple life philosophy that works, and it works for everybody that wants to work it. And most importantly, I'm going to add this at the end. Avoid women. Avoid women at all costs. In the same way that you avoid schooling, formal education, avoid women at all costs during this process, okay? And if you don't know why, check out my other videos. I'll see you guys in the next one.